The objective of this afternoon session was to look at the interplay between vocational education and training and social inclusion, mainly as VET, as a driver for social inclusion, but also potentially we looked at the potential for social exclusion of VET because of the low image that it might have and that it might attract the lower skilled people into certain types of jobs and actually thereby exacerbate exclusion rather than foster inclusion. We also looked at the extent to which the private sector can support the VET system by closer engagement with schools and offering work-based training opportunities and taking a more proactive role. The main messages were that it needs to be a top-down and bottom-up approach. There needs to be partnership on all levels. There needs to be very strong engagement with the private sector for the private sector to take their role and also their responsibilities, but also for the public sector, for the education institutions to work more proactively to overcome red tape and the complexity of the system and to really look at what do employers need and how can we deliver that. The session did achieve its objectives. I think it raised a number of very interesting questions also in relation to best practice examples. How can we capture that? How can we take best practice and make it relevant and valid in a particular country setting with the particular parameters in that country and of the stakeholders, and what we can learn from each other, how we can better interrelate, also the role that the Torino Process can play in this context, and for us to better understand the parameters that TVET operates in. The one key message would be how can we make partnership purposeful? How can we define what we mean by partnership between TVET providers, the private sector, also civil society? There are different roles that each of these players have to perform, and how can we foster that interrelation and get the best out of the system?